Running late for episode 48. I forgot this should have been written while I was eating my early Christmas gift of garlic summer sausage and sliced cheese. I'm basically a Vinking now. Join us tonight before the holidays so we can tell you what gifts we would like to receive. If you have been good and want something for yourself, let us know. If any gift gets multiple requests, we'll proclaim that the hottest gift of the holiday season 2023. It's cold here tonight, so we are all padded up and wearing bear grease on our faces to protect from the bitter winds. If you see a penguin in the background, give it a name. If you all won the penguin as your gift, we will declare a penguin the best gift of 2023. Otherwise, just come hang out and warm your feet by the fire. Smear some of that bear grease on your face also. Makes your beard silky. 7 o'clock, same channels as Nathan always tells you about.
Three little frogs sitting on a log, one of them fell in. One frog said to the other frog, well, you better go get him. Two little frogs sitting on a log, one of them fell in. Last little frog, he sat and thought, good thing they can swim. Jabber Jawn, Jabber Jawn, Jabber Jawn, Jabber Jawn. Three little frogs sitting on a log, one burst into a grin. One frog said to the other frog, wonder what's got into him. Two little frogs sitting on a log, one laughed until he is red. Last little frog, he sat and thought, must have been something I said. Jabber Jawn, Jabber Jawn, Jabber Jawn, Jabber Jawn. Oh, and we're live. Ding, 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 ding. Woohoo! Welcome to the show, everybody. Jibber Jabber Jawn. Welcome to Jabber Jawn. I'm your host, I guess. I'm not really the host. I'm Nathan Moore. This is Kyle Hogg. This is Steve Moore. We are Jabber Jawn at your service. It's good to see you out there. Welcome. Oh, Heather's with us. Hey, bud. Hey, Heather.
Hey, Heather.
Saul. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Saul.
Is he just getting back?
Hey, babe. Always.
Doc just getting home.
Welcome to the show. We are entering into the Christmas season here. We were just, as the credits were rolling, we're just talking about seasons and TV shows and what constitutes a season and whether or not we're going to be thinking in those terms. What I guess we're still in the midst of our first season, right?
Well, actually, I think we're finishing up our fourth season.
Right. See, that's the
been
kind of stuff we got to figure out here.
I've been
tonight.
on a 12-week program.
Right.
I didn't give it 12 weeks, but I took the money. I've lost 4 straight times because I didn't think any of them was going to last 12 more. So
don't bet against us.
Well,
We started in 2022, didn't we?
That was my next question. Did we?
Yeah.
what's that?
Did we start in 22?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have any idea about years.
Wow, I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah.
I guess so. If we're at episode 48, and we missed a few. God, when was episode 1?
I could go back in my journal and find.
Yeah.
I could do the research.
It was Haley's Comet, wasn't it? When you were upstairs, we were talking about Mark Twain was born on Haley's Comet and passed away.
Isn't that amazing? That's not a day though; it's a year, right?
No, it's the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh wait, so he didn't die on? Well, I guess
It's still amazing,
Yeah.
but when you first think of that, you're like, oh my God, on the day.
And it's
But
so weird that
Comet wouldn't have a day.
and it's so weird that he is the only person in the world that happened to.
Well, we don't. I guess we don't know that, do we?
Can we name another one?
Somebody was born on that day in the year he died, and maybe.
Now, wait a minute. Am I wrong to say that everybody that lived 86 years that was born that year was like him?
Yeah, I think that's safe to say.
So it's not very statistically exciting
Right.
anymore. We just ruined a myth. Like here, 5 minutes into the show.
I was trying to make it. I said he was the only one.
Not
but
special. Not special at all, really, if you think
Yeah.
about it.
And I believe that Mark Twain is one of the most special human beings that ever lived.
All right, let's see how we do on trivia. Within 5 years, what year did Mark Twain die?
Ooh. Let's see.
Gosh.
Open to the chat.
1902.
1902.
I have no idea.
That's a good guess.
It'll
Oh, that's good. 1910.
It'll show if any of us pay attention and know when Haley's Comet is, I guess. When he passed away, let's see.
I'm going to ask Percy on Discord.
I'll say he was born in 1840 and he died in 1926.
When did Mark Twain die?
What did you do? Just came back the year of Haley's Comet.
Oh, I used the wrong symbol.
All right, so you 1902. I got 1926. What do you have?
1910. What was yours?
1926.
26. Wow.
What's the answer?
I guess he was born in 1840.
Still looking. Oh yeah.
Right. Good music.
I like the little segue music. Go, producer.
Yeah.
1910. Did someone say that?
You did. Oh, you?
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Bam. This is my day. Let's go to the casino.
Good job.
Man, I was watching, for some reason last night, well, I know why, I was pretty toked up, but I was just watching some videos and thinking, man, the world is amazing. The technology we had. I watched the most wonderful interview with Louis Armstrong.
Oh, wow.
He was born in 1900, and he was on the Dick Cavett show from like the 60s or 70s. I was like, man, what a fortunate time that we live in, that we can actually have videos of people that are just like groundbreaking people. Like if you were like born in 1800 and somebody told you about some totally great person, it was just like stories you'd never have any clue. But you could sit there now and watch Louis Armstrong telling jokes and telling stories and stuff. It's like, man, it was really fortunate to, it's come that far.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
You got to feel sorry, though, for all the people, for the thousands of years of human existence before cameras and television were invented. Especially as we read less and less. We're going to be completely limited to the last 150 years of characters because we can watch them on YouTube.
It's like people probably just grew up and just knew their neighborhood. I mean, people probably didn't even know other town. They didn't even like what do they say? Thomas Jefferson, the farthest he ever came west was Stanton or something.
Oh, really?
Like you think, President of the United States, I was like, he traveled everywhere, but going to Stanton, that's as far as I'll ever be. Get back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and all you had were stories.
Yeah.
That's all we had when we were kids. To a great extent, was stories of people that traveled, went to a place, and they tell you about it. And we'd be so much more curious about their trip because vicariously was the only way we could possibly. Like when Dad went to Vegas, I was just like so fascinated. It was epic thought that Dad had gone to this faraway place that I've seen pictures of or whatever. I don't know. It was a little bit more magic.
Oh yeah,
or
hearing the actual stories always, from a personal point of view, is always so much better. But just imagine.
I would bend my ear if people were talking about a place or whatever. Be like, what are they talking about? The whole reason I moved to Austin, Texas, was because of your friends all talking about Austin, Texas being the live music capital of the world. I just heard it all secondhand. There's no internet or anything.
Right.
It was just Dad's friends talking on his porch one day shaped my whole life.
Wow.
I wouldn't have gone there, if, you know.
Well, how did that sequence go? Because you first went to Nashville.
No, I didn't.
You didn't go at all?
Mm-mm. Straight to Austin,
Making
Texas.
up, that was the first move.
Yep, first move.
I was thinking you went to Nashville but didn't like it and came
No,
back.
dropped out of college, got a one-way ticket to
To
Austin,
Austin, okay.
Texas.
All right, I've been telling that story wrong.
I cut you off, though. Do you remember what you were about to say?
Oh, I was gonna say, imagine if like Thomas Jefferson calls you into the office and it's Lewis and Clark. And we're like, all right, we're gonna send you two, and you gotta come back and tell us all about this stuff. Nobody else knows anything about it. We pick you two. You better have good memories, and you better give us some good stories. Like, ooh, you sure nobody else wants to go with us? No, you two. You're gonna bring us back the story of the world.
That is a remarkable story.
It is.
Several good books about that.
Are there any good movies about that?
Oh, that's a good question.
Isn't there one with
Was
Chris Farley, like a comedy where he's exploring?
Yeah, yeah. I don't think there is one.
was Pocahontas part of the Lewis and Clark story?
No.
Was it
That's
Sacagawea?
Sacagawea.
That's Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a good woman's role. She was a strong character.
Mm-hmm.
I think she kind of ran the place.
Mm-hmm.
But you know that, I mean, I do have some of those books that I see them and I buy them that I never read them, but they had to have like an army of people with them, didn't they? I mean, they didn't just go out with those, not an army, but they had like probably 50 people or 60 people, didn't they? Pack
I don't know if they had
mules
that
and
many.
all that stuff.
I don't think they had that many. They might have had up to 20, I'm thinking.
Right.
You have to feed all of them. Like
Right.
if you're not fighting a present danger, it's more of a burden
Right.
than a benefit because you have to carry that much food.
true.
And,
Yeah, they were on a peaceful mission, too.
Right.
They weren't trying to create problems.
Right.
But, yeah, it becomes,
Elizabeth, welcome to the show. John Dotson, good to see you.
hey, John.
You're right on time, buddy.
And just like you were saying, that you heard a story about Austin, so you just, I mean, I don't know if you flew there, took a train or what, but you got there pretty quickly. Imagine if it was 1800 and you heard somebody talking about it, and you said, I'm going to leave now and be there in 9 months.
Right.
If I survive, I'll be there in 9 months. And the music scene has completely changed since I heard the stories.
Saul says we all look great.
Man,
Oh,
thank you for noticing my physique. I told her.
I was like, do you want a blanket too? He's like, no, I got to show off my physique. Thanks for noticing, Saul. Dude's been working out. Dude has been working out. So how do I finish this question? I'm asking Percy on the Discord. How many people were a part of Lewis and Clark's blank
expedition.
expedition?
Sex
Good
party.
word. Oh, God. We can try that next if you want.
Bedroom annex.
You know, there's there's a particular kind of show that works for me when I'm working. Like sometimes I like to have a show on, just sort of chatter in the background, and if I'm waiting for something to render or something, I can space out on that. But it's like it's a certain kind of show that's perfect for this. That it's like you don't have to follow it. You can start watching it any time, and it's sort of entertaining,
Right.
and you can sort of easily keep up with it. But there's some shows you're like, oh God, I got to rewind it. I missed something. Those, but like a show like West Wing or something. But the one I found last night, I'm gonna probably do the whole series now. But I discovered a perfect match last night. Gunsmoke.
The old ones?
The old Gunsmoke.
Wow.
I was just like, oh, maybe this will work. And I put it on, and I just had so much fun making music with Gunsmoke on to the side. I would take little breaks and catch up, and easy to follow storylines. But what a show! Did you watch that as a kid?
Oh, yeah.
It's so fascinating.
It
Was
was
it
part.
just episode to episode, or was it a longer story?
Episode to episode. And I
what
I
was
don't,
it on? I'd like to watch
It's
it.
on a Paramount Plus. It's on an app.
Okay.
I didn't even look to see how many seasons. Was it a long running show?
Oh boy, yeah,
So there's going to be a lot of them.
yeah, the whole decade.
And I
60s.
bet I'm going to see a lot of like first appearances of who went on to become famous actors.
It's
and
full
stuff.
of them, I'm sure.
But do you remember the show?
Oh yeah,
What characters?
James Arness played,
James Arness is the dude.
and Miss Kitty
Yeah.
was Amanda Blake.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, oh yeah, she was a classy lady. Talk about,
And that's an archetypal character. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of times it's the brothel or the saloon or whatever, but it's the strong woman that runs the
yeah, she was
bar in
she
the old
wasn't
western
she
towns.
wasn't the floozy in the bar.
Never, no.
She was the one in charge of everything,
Right.
including James Arnett.
I've only watched the first 2 episodes, but I'm
Oh, it's-
imagining there's going to be some sparks there.
They were so succinct, because it was an hour show, and they would break it up. You get one commercial, and then so you got 4 commercials,
Right.
and the commercials were entertaining and much better than what we have today, but then each vignette had its own. You already see there's a plot line to the actual scenes, just like in a play.
Right.
You have to have, like the third act has to bring all the characters
Right,
together.
right.
And then in the last act, you solve it, and they all have that little
Arc.
run, and that's what you're listening to. That's the rhythm of it.
Yeah, you just get the rhythm of it, right.
Yeah, they all have a story, but there's always these themes that run through them. Like one will be a love triangle, and the next one will be a robbery, or But there's other little subtle human nature themes going on.
The violence of it all is so fascinating. I mean, the whole
Oh, it is violent?
Gunsmoke is the name of the show.
Yeah, I mean,
There's usually a
there's-
gunfight.
There's usually a gunfight,
Wow.
and the whole. It's funny because like for the last couple of weeks, I'm reading Horatio Hornblower now. That's why I haven't started on the book you gave me, but I'm blazing through it, so I'll be there soon. I'm not getting caught up in it. It's a quick read. It's fun, but I was already sort of fascinated about this before I started reading Horatio Hornblower, and then it was in there. But the duel, the whole ethos of and the whole etiquette or the protocols of the duel is so fascinating to me, because for a long time there, I mean, I'm sure you could overblow it too, because I don't think just normal people did it all the time, but it was at the same time way more common than you could ever imagine.
Oh, yeah.
That if someone offended your honor, you could challenge them to a duel, and they had to duel you, and one of you walked away from it. Like, it's just so fascinating to me.
Well,
for that to be like an actual
always to the
institution.
death.
No, it's true.
You didn't like just keep shooting them. Die.
Right.
Yeah, because
But it was, well,
What's
I mean, it could be. That was like a part of the protocol. Is it to the death or not?
Right.
Like,
what was the big play that was out a couple years ago that everybody saw? Hamilton. Supposedly one of those guys was like in 3 duels and been shot like 3 times.
That's
or
what I'm
something.
saying.
Just kept going, like God, I can't take him down, But that was the thing then. Even if you were the one that had done the bad thing, you sort of stood up for what you said, and I insulted you, but I don't take it back. Go. Man, those guys were braver back then.
it was a whole thing.
Nowadays, you go home and get on Facebook. That guy's a son of a gun and all. If I ever run into him again.
I don't really have any insights or anything, but there is that sort of, and I see it in Gunsmoke too, like just that there was a certain level of violence that was, I don't know, it's, I've heard people talk a lot about like old folk songs, because you start studying old folk songs, they're all about like murder.
Burying his wife down by the river.
Yeah, like killing your, yeah, exactly. Like, it's all adultery and murder and all this stuff, and it's just
It sells.
and it does sell. And nowadays, like everybody loves true crime. Like it's all about true crime.
Right.
It's sort of filling that vacuum
Right.
of that we want. And I sort of miss the other version of it because we don't want to like tell story. You can't do Gunsmoke now necessarily.
Right.
Like I don't know. There's no duels. There's no. You don't murder your wife down by the river. And
Right.
there's nothing. There was a romance to the violence
Right.
in the past or something. The duel. It was romantic.
Right.
It was like, you've offended my honor.
Right.
Meet me tomorrow by the river.
Well, and that's what a gunfight is. Mm-hmm. It's a duel, and and there's a sense of honor there.
A sense of honor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that you don't get if you don't have that code of the West, if you will.
Right. There's something just so fascinating about
Yeah.
the whole.
But there's also to be said about the westerns and because I grew up on these, and you wonder how they influence your way of looking at guns and
big
and
time.
violence and all of that. And the thing about those is that when we were growing up in the 50s, we were about as far away from guns being worn on your hip as we could be. That we were thinking of another era, of a mythical time.
Right.
It wasn't that long ago, and it did exist for maybe some of our great grandparents, but for us, we didn't know anything about it, and it was unreal in that sense. Even as you watch it now, it's not. It doesn't seem like. We have replaced it with a different culture, which doesn't have near as much honor, by the way.
Right.
But it wasn't. But was it ever like that, or were we romanticizing it as we made it up for Gunsmoke TV shows?
Right.
So there's all
Probably
that.
a little bit of both.
I think so.
Because there's the
Definitely.
the success of civilization or whatever is that you're just safe or whatever.
Yeah.
But for thousands of years, like you might have had a safe little enclave, but if you ventured out from that,
Oh, yeah.
you weren't safe. You were
Well,
you were. It
well,
was
it's
an
still like
anarchy,
that.
right?
I mean, it's still like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it is.
It's so weird you mentioned playing like cowboys and Indians and stuff. I was talking about the Louis Armstrong interview, and he was born in 1900. And he lived in New Orleans. And he was talking about Dick Cavett said, "What did you do?" He said, "We ran around, played cowboys and Indians." So like even like what was that, 1912 or something? There they were
Right.
still, and that was only what 50 years before, but
Yeah.
that was still the thing to do, play cowboys and Indians. Also, the thing about Gunsmoke now, if you made it, there'd be like Gunsmoke Reno, Gunsmoke Houston, Gunsmoke Dodge City. There'd be like, wait, how can I keep track of all these people? There's Miss Kitty, there's Miss Cat over here, and you got this one.
You know the character in Gunsmoke that I love the most?
Wait a minute. Let me think. I get the characters. I always loved the characters. Let me get to Chester.
Yes.
Oh,
What
yeah,
on-
Dennis Weaver.
And
he was a great actor. and
brilliant.
I just thought he was crippled all his life.
Wait a minute,
Oh, he's faking the limp.
Oh, yeah.
Dennis Weaver was in Gunsmoke?
He was.
You know who that is?
Yeah.
Who is it?
McLeod. Isn't that McLeod? Didn't he play McLeod?
Yeah, I
Back
think
to
he
the
did.
Future?
No, there was like a
Yeah, he did.
He played like a cop that came from somewhere, and he went to New York or something. And he started off, he was riding his horse through the city and all this stuff.
McLeod, yeah.
He's such a great character, so fascinating in the midst of everything that we've been talking about. This sort of like honor and violent ethos, and there's a gunfight every episode. The whole opening credits start with you're seeing the guy from the back drawing on somebody in the middle of the street and winning the gunfight. That's like the opening credits or whatever. But then there's Chester, who like everything out of his mouth is a witticism, but he seems sort of talks in a drawl. You would sort of think that maybe he
no
wasn't
idea he was
intelligent,
that.
but then everything that comes out of his mouth is really clever.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah, he's like, yes. He's very Forrest Gumpish.
Definitely.
And
very Barney Fife-ish.
very Barney Fife-ish.
And very Festus.
Very eccentric.
Who's Festus?
Who's Festus? Is he in the show?
He's another sidekick.
I think he hasn't been introduced yet.
Roy Rogers' sidekick was...
in a different show.
Yeah, in other words,
You're thinking of sidekicks.
Yeah, I'm talking sidekicks.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
definitely an Andy and Barney energy going on in Gunsmoke. I could see Gunsmoke being part of their inspiration for that dynamic.
What was the name of the town? Do you remember?
Dodge. Get out of Dodge.
Oh yeah, Dodge City.
Dodge City.
Matt Dillon.
Did that actually? That was all right. That's the character's name, the marshal's name.
God, you got a good memory for this stuff.
Yeah. Was Dodge City an actual place?
Yeah, Kansas.
So the Get Out of Dodge isn't necessarily a Gunsmoke reference.
Not necessarily, but I'm sure it became
But Chester's really sort of eccentric for the times too. Like he seems like he could be gay. Like they're like the second episode, like they're all in the store, and he's
They're all in the bathhouse, and
he's like taking the ribbons and making a braid out of it. He's like braiding it. I don't know. It's so interesting. I was like, he's got a bit of a eccentric, creative, effeminate air about him that I just love. I just love how they made the characters so eccentric and complex. I feel like that was part of writing style back in the day. That like if you're going to have a character, he's going to be a character. It's not just going to be a normal person put in a situation. These are character-driven things. I feel like we've lost a little bit of that in some of our shows and stuff
that's what
like that.
good writers do to earn their money. They
Mm-hmm.
create real characters.
Real characters.
That are worth seeing what they're going to do next. That's what makes them interesting.
Right. Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Talking about that, I don't remember like TV or movies making me cry when I was young. With Dennis Weaver, that guy who what is his name? Chester. In the 70s, it had to be in the 70s. He did this movie. He was a truck driver, but he couldn't read, and it was like him just trying to get places, and he couldn't read this get off here, exit here, whatever. And I remember watching that with my parents and crying, feeling sorry for him.
When you were a kid?
Yeah. And I
love that this guy's like a whole...
Yeah, he was a big star.
Yeah.
I can't remember if the movie was even sad or if I just felt sorry for him. Because his delivery was always late. He didn't know where he was going. He always had to act like, how do I get to this place? And there's signs right there. It's like, oh, poor Dennis Weaver.
You know what you just reminded me of was after school specials.
Oh,
you remember those?
Oh, yeah, man.
You probably don't remember that. Those are aimed at us and our generation.
Teach us a lesson.
But they were it was like after school special. And it didn't come on at a regular time. It was just like I forget even how they would schedule it or how we knew there was going to be a new one. But I always seemed to know that there was going to be a new one. And almost every single one of them, this really affected me, was the transformation of somebody from a bad person to a good person because of a random act of kindness or love by some. I feel like that was like the story arc of many of those, but just the melting of a cold heart, just the transformation of a Scrooge story. It's like that classic arc. Here's this guy, but then he sees the light because of some love that's given him or some kind of gesture that changes his whole world view from a mean one to a sweet one.
Christy McNichols had no self confidence, and then the tennis coach showed her who she really was, and she went on to be class president that year.
She was a classic. That's probably one of my first little crushes. Christy McNichol.
She went on to date Dennis Weaver during the 80s.
Oh, Saul, is it good? He just started the new Fargo series that I hear people raving about.
God, how old is the movie Fargo? Is that over 20 years old? That is over 20 years, isn't it?
Probably.
John Dotson says there's a lot of rooting for the bad guy in shows these days. That is true. That's the new thing. It's like Breaking Bad and stuff like that, where it's a whole deep dive into the. It's making you conflicted about these bad people or whatever. It's all about how to get you to cheer for.
What's driving them?
You wouldn't like these kinds of shows.
No.
But there's so many of them now. It's like a whole genre in and of itself.
I have a friend that just, he just knows all these old murders and all these bank robberies and all this stuff. And I'll bring up something new. He goes, I don't pay attention to that stuff. I'm like, why? He goes, because in the old days they had a chance. The bad guys had a chance. Now with all these cameras and video stuff, he said they're going to catch you eventually. There's hardly any unsolved crimes. He said, in the old days, if you were smart, the cops were basically level with you. You could outsmart them.
Right.
He's like Jack the Ripper. The dude's walking around a major city killing people they don't never find him in 100 years. Nowadays, the cameras would get him, and his credit card would have been used here. They would have had him within like a week.
Mm-hmm. And DNA and all that kind of stuff.
But when he told me that, he's like, because the criminals had a chance back then.
It's true.
It was more of an honorable thing.
Right.
Like dueling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you could get away with it, hats off to you.
Right.
Yeah.
God, who is that? Oh, I'm going to feel embarrassed now that I can't think of who's saying this. I don't think it's Dylan. To live outside the law, you must be honest.
Honor among thieves.
I was like, that's like such a cool thing, sort of. Like, if you're really going to thrive and be a good, you're not really honest, but you got to treat, you can't be telling lies all the time. Everybody comes after you.
Right. I guess that makes sense.
Gunsmoke. How about the Rifleman? Have you ever seen that? Chuck Connors.
I know what you mean.
My ex-wife, every Sunday, that would be on like for 4 hours straight. And I'd come downstairs, she'd be sitting there with a coffee watching The Rifleman every morning.
The opening credits are awesome on that show.
Of Rifleman?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I can vaguely.
He comes out and he's just like, he's shooting it all fast and he's got that move that he does.
Yeah.
He's cocking it and firing, all in one step.
And that's in the opening credits?
Well, no, he does it like with one hand. Well, I haven't seen.
That's the move.
It's right in the
I could do that with my
credits.
BB gun.
Yeah. It's immediately grabbing.
Right. Well, it's so because I haven't seen Gunsmoke, but I would come down, I was like, God, you're watching this again. I was like, how's anybody left alive in this town? Right. There's a murder every time. Oh, this is a beautiful town to live in. Really? Every time you go in.
It's all just people that pass, all the bad guys just pass through or whatever.
Where's Miss Kitty? Oh, she was shot in an armed robbery and murdered last week. Oh, that's too bad.
That's what happened to Midsummer Murders. I used to watch it. It was a British crime show, and he solved crimes.
That's not that old, right?
Well, it was on in Britain for 14 years, and they ended up killing everybody in Midsummer. And they had to stop doing it because they just ran out of bodies.
Whoops.
That is a good show. I like that.
Yeah, I enjoy those. That adds to we were talking about the Western, the way they had their little patterns, and those Midsummer Murders have the patterns. It's a 2-hour show, so it's really develops. A lot of them are 2 hours,
right.
And it's really I got hooked on those for a couple of years.
Wow, 14 seasons of 2-hour-long episodes.
I haven't watched all of them, but I never know which ones I have and haven't.
That's cool.
I'll start them, and if I remember them too well, 'cause usually I'll forget them pretty quick anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But they are fun. and they don't ever have to show the violence.
Right.
They just assume you figured out I kill them, or there's a body in the other room, but they don't show a close-up of the intestines bleeding through the carpet like we have to do in California.
I'm with you on that.
It's just grotesque.
It is. It can be too much.
Yeah, I don't
It's just
need
too
to.
much.
Yeah.
One last thing on the duel idea. It strikes me that anybody that kills another person because they offended their honor probably is not an honorable man. Like, do you think there's ever in the history of duels somebody who's an honorable man actually killed another man to defend their honor? Like,
Well, I disagree completely.
you do.
Well,
all it takes is two, and you've got a duel. If you got two people that think the same way, that's okay to do that, and then you've got enough. Or if you get a whole culture to believe it, then everybody's going to do it, because that's what is accepted.
Right.
No one's accepting it the other way. Now they will call you a coward, but they won't give you any credit for it.
So do you think there was like an impetus on if you were in that ethos, whatever it is,
culture,
in your that culture, and your honor was offended by somebody, you would have a duty to defend your honor against that insult.
I think
especially if somebody else heard it.
Right.
Now that's a big what if, because I can swallow a lot of criticism as opposed to might be getting killed in a week. So
Now, do you think even from when you were small that honor has changed at all? Do you think people now
what
really
is
have a
honor
sense
today?
Seems like who has a sense of honor nowadays? People would just say whatever and like blow it off, let it ride.
I think everybody's different. First of all, there's still a lot of people that are doing it the same way they did when I was a kid, and that's young people and old people. There's still a lot of people that think the way I do out there, but
what way is that?
About what?
How would you describe what you're talking about? There's a lot of people.
Your sense of honor.
Well, we were talking about the idea of how the whole sense of honor and right and wrong and how you perceive all that. I mean, there seems to be an old-fashioned way. What I was alluding to when I was saying in the 50s, we had guns, we had rifles to go hunting, and we had protection, but it wasn't a big deal. It just wasn't that common a thing for people to get into. Mm-hmm. And that didn't happen until a little bit later. But at the same time, we weren't afraid of guns, and we grew up with you were getting a six shooters holster when you were 8 years old for Christmas.
Right.
That was one of the common presents, or a BB gun.
Right.
So you grew up with a gun culture, but it wasn't the same. There was more respect then for what you were doing. And even in the TV shows, there was more respect. When somebody got killed, you spent the rest of the show figuring it out. Now, you can start the show, and before the first commercial, 6 people are dead. And nobody's even talking about it, seeing the, It's just more flippant, the way we kill people now.
Well.
And that's the culture.
I don't know. There's a lot of flippant killing in Gunsmoke.
Well, I think it's very determined. That's what the whole
bad
show.
Bad guys are bad guys. Bad guys.
There are bad guys out there.
Shoot a man just to shot a man for snoring or whatever.
But you know what you're saying. But you know what else is real? What is real is what was out west during this time that we're talking about, the old west. You know what a whole lot of it was? They were the survivors of a war in which we asked were asked to kill each other. Our own people, we were shooting each other across the field. And then they sent us home, and there wasn't any home because it was burned down. And so you headed out west. And do you think you were a good person by then?
Right.
After what you've seen? That was more of a hell than anything you're talking about describing on a TV show.
Right.
These were people that were desperate. And the law wasn't there yet.
Right.
And they made the law as they went along.
But as a sense of honor, do you think if you live like we were just talking about, people back then didn't travel as much.
Upside down.
Was your honor much more important when you lived with the same people your whole life? Like, I have to protect my sense of honor. I have to protect my honor because otherwise I could crumble in this community. Now we're, going to Charlottesville. I work in Harrisonburg. I'm not really around the same people all the time. But if you live in Dodge and somebody insults your honor, and you're shit out of luck. You got to defend it somehow.
You're not going to get a loan at the bank.
Yeah, I wonder if honor was more important then because it was really who you were in the community.
I think if you're going to stay around, your honor is important, definitely. Yeah, I think that's probably true. But I think a lot of this comes from inside a person, and you don't necessarily have to have a pressure to create honor.
Right.
You have a sense of honor, right? I feel like we all have a sense of that.
But it would be very hard to insult my sense of myself. I mean, it could be done, but it would be, I would just act like it didn't bother me, and I'd go home and cry or something. But I wouldn't, with a glove slap somebody on the face,
Mm-hmm.
You can't say that about me. I would just be like, when he left, y'all know that's not true, right?
Well, you see, there's, again, we're arguing, we're not arguing, but the other issue is here is that you use the word honor, and I'm listening to you and I'm saying, well, I don't care what you say to me. That's you can say whatever you want. But, for instance, if you were to attack one of my family, that's another version of attacking my honor. Okay. But you would have to pay for that. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't back off and absorb it and go home. I would act on it, and you would understand.
And you would understand what a beatdown was.
As we said last week, you would meet Ernie. Ernie would make it a rapid appearance.
How much do you think honor and reputation are tied in together?
Well, it's two different things, right? But
they're two different
related.
things, but they're definitely tied into each other. I think you definitely are. Yeah, they're mutually tied together. Each depends on the other, at least to some extent.
I would think there could be honorable people that have a terrible reputation. Couldn't you?
Oh, certainly.
And vice versa.
Certainly.
Probably vice versa, right? People have a good reputation that aren't honorable people.
I see that happening all the time, even nowadays.
I feel like a lot happened, just in the last 5 years or whatever with social media and the cancel culture and stuff like that. But also just like a lot of like people's honor being offended, but them sort of being in the wrong and people processing that space. Like social media debates around the high school name change or something like that. Like there was... people's honor was being impugned on social media in public. That's for blind spots that they had where they were actually saying things. They were impugning their own honor by saying how they actually felt about stuff and not really realizing how bad what they actually thought was. Like just because they had a blind spot and didn't realize they were actually saying super problematic things, with all kinds of topics that have come. And or debated on social media, and you'd see that like their honor has been impugned, but they sort of deserve it. They just don't even realize.
Right.
And watching people process that, but it is like when your honor is impugned, like even if you're wrong, and especially if you don't realize you're wrong, that's a really hard thing to process.
Right.
And these terrible exchanges would happen on social media because of that energy right there. Those would all be duels.
Well, well, that's something. When you mentioned that, it made me think. Back in the old days, like Gunsmoke, if one guy insulted the other, they didn't just charge each other and start fighting. It wasn't like nowadays, you bump into somebody, hey, and back then, like, oh, you dishonored me. We had to settle this like gentlemen. You still had to carry yourself as an honorable person. You didn't just like wait till the guy walk by and smash me over the head with a beer bottle. I teach you to bump into me. Like now, people have no honor the way they even carry themselves. They're just like, I don't care. I'll stab you in the back with a steak knife as soon as you turn around.
When you least expect it.
Yeah. So at least if they were upset, they stayed sort of calm and like, they'd have their man take a letter over to that other guy's manservant the next day. Oh, he's challenged you to a duel Sunday at 8. Oh, crap. All right. I have to, we can either pack up and head out of here or we can do it.
Can't do it. I got the Sunday night football game. I can't. Tell him I'll be there next week after the season.
But on the way over here, I was telling him I was at I had to go to I can't even think what it's called, the old Blockbusters. You can give blood, or they take blood and stuff there.
Yeah.
So I got there at 7, and this guy comes in. They're like, we don't do the test you want till 8 o'clock. This dude went ballistic. He was like an older guy, and the older guy at the front desk like, you gotta step outside. You can't be in here. This upset. He came in just leaning over, yelling at the young, clerk taking the thing. And I was like, man, where is that guy's sense of... I wasn't thinking it now, but I wasn't thinking it then, but now I am like, where's his sense of like how he's presenting himself to the public? He would rather just air his, like we said, the rage and stuff. He would rather just get it off his, instead of going out to the car and banging on the steering wheel and nobody can see him. He just acts like a... do you think people act like that back in the day?
Somebody did.
Well, I think...
But they didn't last long. They did not last long.
Well, the truth is, things change with age, and you're dealing with an elderly man, and this could be a mental thing in terms of, not having that ability to control himself,
Right.
and there's lots of different things that happen with advancing age, and one of them is you just don't give a shit, and that's...
I've lost my honor. I don't give a shit. I don't give a damn. I'm a bad reputation.
It wasn't doing me any good anyway. I don't know where it is, but I'm gonna let those people know that I'm here.
I worked all these years for my good reputation. Didn't get shit for it.
Where did my reputation get me? I'm still in the home.
Honor this. Oh.
Granddad had a strong sense of honor.
Definitely.
It is fun when you meet people that's just part of their energy. You can just tell, like, Granddad just imbued it. Like, this is an honorable man. Like, I think that's part of what you're talking about. There was something about... There was a way people would wear honor on their sleeves that you don't necessarily see today.
Right.
We have self-righteousness, but that's different than honor.
Yeah, I don't think they wear it on the sleeve is not good. But there are people that carry it. And you can feel it. Yeah. Yeah, and those are the good...
What do you think the difference between self-righteousness and honor is?
Well, I think self-righteousness has got an element to it where you believe the self is important, and just the opposite with the person who they don't see the self as being
Interesting.
part of it.
That's a great answer.
So it's right there,
A
self-righteous.
selflessness. Honor has a bit of selflessness.
Yeah, there's a selfless quality to
service
it. Yeah. It's
to a higher power of some sort.
exactly whatever that source is for you. Even if it's just cold logic.
I like that a lot.
Well, folks, that's it.
It's been an honor.
We're all just sitting here judging ourselves. Do I have honor? Can I even look at the camera anymore?
You know, we are gonna Jabberjawn is gonna offer some products in the coming year.
Oh yeah, right. So
And,
should we just have
we're-
our business meeting now?
We could talk about
We're
it,
all
but one
here.
of the things that is that we will send out a little envelope with a little card. We'll all sign it, and it'll say that they're an honorable person.
Right, a certificate.
It'll be $25
Certificate of honor.
Yeah.
just to help with.
And if anybody
with
questions
it's
you-
called a carrying fee. You know, we're not making any profit, but if you'll send $25,
That's a
we
good
will
idea.
guarantee you that Jabberjawn believes you're an honorable person. That's worth a lot of money, I think.
But once you get it in the mail, don't get all self-righteous.
Right.
I've got my honor citation. All right, calm down, Jack. We know you got your
Leave it in the drawer. Don't put it up on the wall.
keep it tucked in the family Bible so they'll know you are an honorable
Yeah,
person.
exactly. In 100 years.
That is a distinction there between honor and self-righteousness, where you put your certificate of honor. You frame it, put it on the wall, or do you put it in your Bible?
It's like self-righteous person. I can see them in line. They'd be like, "Oh, I need to get here because I'm running late." And the honorable man would be like to the older lady, "Here you go in front of me." Even though he's as late as this other guy is, he would look around and see that there's other people in need too, and not just let me get out of here so I don't have to deal with this anymore. And there's still a lot. I'm sure there's more than that we even know about. I guess you notice. You don't really notice that type of behavior as much as you do the guy out there yelling his head off today.
Nope.
So what's this product line?
Oh yeah.
Well, I have rented a shelf at Art Hive,
Rented a shelf at Art
and
Hive.
we can sell our wares. So I was thinking any tidbits that you see that you could, any junk you want to get rid of, that we could, that's funny, that I see some humor in, or it's worthwhile. Like I would think I gave you a thing of kazoos a while back.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be a good little gift box of Nathan Moore, your
Sanitized
festival kazoos for whatever we want to
Yeah,
charge.
yeah.
How do you sell stuff? You sell it there. Is that
Yeah, I guess it's going to be like a little museum shelf where you can buy everything on it.
Exactly. You can take it home. And then we'll replace it. Every time somebody buys something, we'll replace it. Or if it doesn't sell forever, or if we get tired of it, we'll replace
Is
it.
anybody else in there doing a similar thing?
Well, there's a lot of
That's
people.
all it is.
There's a lot of artists
art, yeah.
doing their arts things in there. They have a lot of things in there for sale, and they're showing different art. They're focusing on one month, but they also are renting. Yeah, everybody's renting.
So is our
places.
rented shelf just sitting there empty right now, waiting for us to put stuff on it?
I don't think it's waiting there empty right now. I think they have to clear out an area.
He's already been down this morning and loaded it up.
You loaded it up. So what are you putting on this
I
shelf?
just have to buy everything on that one shelf, and then we can have it. I think it's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to make a lot of money here. But no, we're not doing that. But I was going to sell my book.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah, that's a
Put
good
some
one.
copies
Life
of that
Days.
down there.
Yeah,
Life
that's good.
Days. And then just things. I haven't been down there yet, but I'm going to go down in my basement and get some of your stuff
How about it?
that's still down there that you've given me permission to throw away. I'm going to, if it's cool. See, they have really great art little projects for bringing kids down to play with the, not play, well, play or do art. It's a really cool place. We have to go over there one afternoon.
You can put any of your cards there?
Well, I was having that idea today. I'm going to do my baseball card presentation and sell, my baseball cards and write a little thing explaining that baseball cards make great bookmarks.
Yeah.
And I sell them in packages. Like if you want to give somebody a Baltimore Orioles from the 60s.
Oh, yeah.
Did you explain this whole concept to her that we're just going to be bringing stuff in?
I told her we're going to bring weird stuff, and she said that would be great.
You sold it right.
Wait, but when the conversation first started, we were going to have Jabber John wear. Now we're just selling like stuff we find on the bottom of the closet.
Well, no,
I mean, you got to start somewhere.
That's exactly right. I've been wanting to have a business meeting to explain that we need to have get a theme, Jabber John, like we ought to have in behind the shelf. There should be Jabber John, and then all the information about how that people can watch it, and that all that all ought to be on there. And little handouts and little cards where
We
they
should
can
make some merch from that illustration that Linda came up with.
Yeah.
With the where you're laughing and I'm playing music. You have the eye patch. You might have to start wearing the eye patch again when we get the merch here.
No, but how's that gonna work? We're just gonna swipe her thing, and she's just sitting at home. We just hope our honor's not disturbed. When she comes in and goes, "I drew that."
No, I don't know if she should get a cut or not. That would be the honorable thing to do.
We will send you an honored certificate if you let us use that for free.
Yeah, there's lots of possibilities there.
A lot of that kind of stuff's so easy to make these days too with a website. You just sort of upload a picture, then you can get it put on coffee mugs or shirts or anything you want these days. Stickers.
Do it. I can't do it. You can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it.
I don't know how to
Cafe Press.
Redbubble.
What is it called?
Redbubble.
Redbubble. That's the new jam everybody's using.
There's somebody that can really do it.
George, good to see you.
Lex can do it.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, he's saying we have closed caption happening in real time right now.
Way to go, Lex.
Yep, Lex is over there just.
That's amazing.
Who would be doing that?
It's just YouTube is automating it.
Because finally somebody said, I can't understand what Kyle's saying. I never understand a word he says. We need to get closed captioning.
I agree, definitely.
If he doesn't turn and face the camera and speak slower, I'm going to stop watching. All right, so we got to, let's see. I'm going to bring the bullet they dug out of my ribs from my first duel. That'll be on display.
I could sell a little piece of glass that was stuck in my foot for 7 years. Still got that.
Man.
Oh, you got all kinds of stuff.
Just
I know you got do you have products sitting around, merch? Or you don't have a bunch of
I got some old CDs. I don't know. I'm gonna have to put some thought into this. I could go back to my crafting. I used to on my merch table. I always had stuff I made from old magic magazines, and I would find them at thrift stores and antique stores and stuff, and find old magic catalogs and stuff. And then I would take like pencils, Altoid tins, and decoupage them. And yeah, I gave
That's
you a pencil.
real cool, yeah.
But it used to be part of my merch table when I was touring. It'd be songbooks, CDs, and then these magic things. Usually Altoid.
You have
10s.
songbooks?
Don't have any actual songbooks.
Yeah.
I put out 3 editions though over the years back in the day.
Really?
No, what's a fake book? Isn't that a sort of a songbook?
Songbook, yeah.
The same thing.
I wonder why they call it a fake book.
I don't know. I know there's a jazz book called the Real Book.
Real book.
But
Oh,
I don't know if fake was first, and that's in reaction to that.
right. Or which came first, the real book or the fake
Backstory
book?
of either, so,
No, yours was lyrics or the chords and everything.
I put the chords and I put the
Wow.
chords above, not like sheet music style, but the chords above the words.
Oh, that's cool. Wow.
Yeah, those are always fun to make.
Was it for just a? Was it for like an album or just random songs that weren't necessarily
It
together?
was like I did volumes, so the volume 3 was just songs that weren't in the first 2,
Oh, okay.
but all together. So each one got bigger.
Right.
It was always
Oh, so if you bought the 4th one, you didn't need to buy the first one.
right.
Okay.
Yeah,
For collectors, though, you need one that first one.
I was always very proud of those.
Wow.
Yeah, I should update it. Volume 4.
Man, we got to get 2 shelves. Do you get to pick where the shelf is?
I don't think
In
so.
the hallway down by the bathroom?
Yeah, I like to be near the bathroom. That's where I get a lot of my business over the years.
They do have some. They do have some cool stuff in
See
there.
if Willie T. Taylor will send me a case of his beard oil, stuff like that.
hot sauce?
Hot Taos Home hot
Oh
sauce.
yeah! Wow.
Yeah.
Those are affiliates, though. We'll have to,
Yeah, it's kind of.
you know, to pace ourselves. Someday, when we have our store, it all started as a shelf at Art Hive. Cut to 10 years later,
It's half a
we're
shelf.
opening up a new branch of the Jabber John retail store in Charlottesville.
Going down to JJ's. 50% off. Everything 50. Get your
It's Tuesday.
Get your membership
I
card.
remember when this place used to be at Walmart.
JJ's.
JJS. That's
That's
what's
right.
our new name for the company we're going to form.
What's the S? Services?
Services.
Right.
Yeah.
I like it.
We'll start off with your commercial there. Jabber John at your service. And then we'll sell them something and make more money.
I like
Now,
it.
when the shelf, like the first day it goes up, or they can let Nathan play there.
For the shelf opening?
Yeah.
The grand ceremony. We have a little ribbon.
I don't
little
think
scissors.
they'd say anything if he came in and started playing. They're real nice there. But I don't think they want a lot of flow in there.
How are they doing in there?
Well, I've enjoyed going in there every time. I've
They keep regular
I've
hours?
taken a couple friends down there to check it out, and I want
They have regular
to
hours.
get the kids down there, the grandkids down there.
Have they done
sometime.
it yet?
No, we haven't made it yet. Usually when they get over, it's about 3, and they close at 4 on Saturday and Sunday, so
Right.
it's hard to coordinate all that. But that would be fun. They would like it.
One of the funny things, me and my mom went down there for one of the openings. Oh my God, I can't think of the lady's name now. Oh, that's terrible. But anyway, we went to the opening, and my mom liked one of her pieces and bought it, thinking she could just take it home. And they told her, it's the opening. We got to leave it here.
All right.
But my mom really liked it, but she also, in her mind, was buying it because she has like a bridge club and something. So she wanted to take it home and have it there so all of her friends could see it and go, oh, where'd you get that cool thing? And she could, like an ad for, say, go down there. So she was trying to explain that to the woman. Woman was like, that's a good idea, but no, we got to keep it here. My mom was like, I'm trying to help you. Let me just take this thing home. But so she went and picked it up last week, I think. So it sat there till the opening was done.
What's it a painting of?
Actually, the woman makes things like she just gets like a trash can lid, and eyes made out of saucers, and it's really just weird stuff. But she had made 2 little bookends, like these little furry, fuzzy type little creatures. And my mom bought one of them.
Bought one of them?
Well, they looked like bookends, but they were really, because we thought they were bookends, and the artist told us, well, I actually made a bunch of them. They look like bookends because they're sitting there side by side. They weren't really made as bookends.
So we're gonna have to get you like a way to create reprints of both of your
That's
or
what I was
something.
thinking, man.
For the shelf.
Man.
When we have stuff on our shelf, I'll take pictures of the shelf so we can share it on the show. So for those that don't live in Virginia, can vicariously stand before our shelf.
And then we'll sell those pictures.
And then we'll sell the pictures on the shelf. Oh, it'll be a whole thing. As seen on Jabberjawn.
Art
That should be
Have will probably mail you stuff if you send them money, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, mail order.
Because like a book or a CD, it's not that hard to pack up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Then they would get a little cut. We could support them. We wouldn't have to do anything. Just give them all this stuff. Man, I can quit work finally.
Retire. Ching ching.
Oh, here's a new job.
Okay.
Opening a coffee shop. At Newtown.
Oh, the Newtown. That would
Newtown,
be such a good place for that.
it would be a great place for a nice coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
How was the
Yeah.
How was the sale? Did you go to it?
It
or
was
too
great.
late?
What sale?
They had Wendy Gray had a winter, you should have gone, I should have called y'all. Well, I didn't know what it was going to be till I got there, but they had all kinds of merchants, different things.
At Newtown?
At Newtown,
Oh, wow.
inside. And I know the owner there, and she was, I was saying,
The owner
everybody
of Newtown?
yeah,
Who's that?
Laurie Berman.
Oh, is that the neighbor?
She owns some of the property out near our. She's a real nice lady who is responsible for Allegheny Mountain Institute. They do work with Project Grows and
Oh, wow.
the sustainability. She's a really cool lady. And several people had said they wanted the coffee shop to be like it used to be when Bill Willett had it, Bill and Shaney. And so I mentioned that to Lori, and she said, I'd love to do that. And if somebody would like to invest in it, that would be fun. So I got me thinking that of people that I know would like an alternative to alcohol. Is one of the things I'm looking at is going out and socializing and being with people, and be not alcohol induced.
Right.
So it would be a place you could go after hours, or just if you don't drink, you might want to go there. But just socially, a place to go have coffee,
Yeah.
in the morning or in the late evening too. You could keep some weird hours.
There are a couple of good coffee shops in town already, right?
I guess.
By and by. Is that
I
still
have-
there? On the corner? Across
I
the-
don't go to any of them, so I really don't have any idea what the competition would be like. Which
But
is-
Newtown is such a magic space.
It's got a lot of room there for doing different things. But see, that would just be the beginning. You not only could do that, you could do pizza there. He has the ovens and
Now you're
everything.
covering your mic a little bit there.
You could do a lot of things there. It'd be creative. It's a great music venue.
I was gonna say,
your backyard.
Bring back the old ethos of what the coffee shops used to be. They used to be like
just
the archetypal.
blues,
folk music and
blues
blues
or
and-
jazz or
Yeah.
whatever.
But that's the thing. If it's one open, this is what drives me crazy about coffee places. I remember when I was growing up, my parents would go get a cup of coffee. The waitress was back every 5 minutes, free refills. You could sit there all day drinking coffee. like that's like I was talking about. My dream was to have like a dive type of bar, just cheap beer. Don't sell the best coffee in the world. Just sell coffee. So if somebody wants another cup, you just pour it in there. You know, you want a third? Yeah. All right, this coffee's not costing me $4 a piece. You know, just
Right.
I like that.
and I think that's where the community comes. You don't just finish your cup and you're like, well, I'm done. You know, that's all. It was nice meeting you. You can just sit there all day, but you know.
I think that's a great idea.
That's on the list.
I agree with that. You know, if you want espresso, and that's fine, that's your choice. Stay home and make it.
Marino's put a cryptic post on Facebook today saying big news coming soon.
I saw that. That
Intrigued.
might
We're
be
opening a coffee house at Newtown.
That's funny.
Brian, good to see you, buddy. Oh, he's probably tuning. I just remembered we forgot to read I didn't read the long story.
Oh,
that he
yeah, you didn't
shared.
tell us the
I was supposed to
story.
read it and fill you in on what we missed by seeing his name again. Reminds me of that. But he says now that honor certificate idea is $1 million idea.
Man, the schools could do that. They could order for the whole classroom, $25 a pop. They got 30 kids in there. That's $750 we made. Right
Do they
there.
still do the honor roll at school?
Sure.
They do? It's called that?
He wouldn't know with his kids. I didn't mean to insult your honor.
I remember seeing the bumper stickers. My kids on the honor roll or whatever at Bessie Weller or whatever. The honor roll. I wonder what if the criteria has changed over the years.
And that was a very sweet. This is how times have changed. That was a very sweet thing. Parents are very proud of that. You know, little Timmy or little Sally, they're on the honor roll. Then you know, like the 2000s, you're riding around, you see guys with bumper stickers. My dumb kid can beat up your honor roll student. Kid. Like, why does the world have to change to be like, you know, like let somebody just be happy that their kid got on the honor roll, not that your rough ass kid can go in there and beat them up. You know? But I'm proud of my kid too. But then just have a bumper sticker say I'm a rough ass kid. I used to see those like, oh my God, that's really something to brag about, isn't it? What was this? You told some funny story. Oh, I can't remember what it was. It was about my dad can beat up your dad. And he had showed up with, I forget the story now.
It was, oh, your dad can draw? Oh, my dad can draw.
Oh, yeah.
Like, my dad can draw better than your dad can draw. Nuh-uh. Well, all right, we'll get them each to draw us something and show up here tomorrow or whatever. So I went and had to tell Dad, I need you to draw me an awesome picture. And he didn't even probably realize that he was going up against another dad and that my honor was on the line.
How could I miss that?
So they go to school the next day and the kid pulls out this it's like Beowulf or something. It's like this fierce gladiator with like intricate muscle lines. Like the shading was amazing. He had this big sword or whatever. And I pull out the little bunny Dad gave me. Still to this day, I thought the bunny kicked that gladiator's ass. It was like Monty Python. That bunny tore him up.
The kid said, your dad didn't draw that, you did.
That was a badass bunny. I don't care what he said. I don't care what the other classmates said.
I did bunnies and some birds and an elephant from behind.
Oh, God.
That was my best one. I could do that in front of a classroom. Just, you know.
But the wonderful thing about stories like that, memories like that, the kid whose dad do that, the other one probably would never remember that. He has no memory, you know. Like you, it's like sometimes just being in that awkward situation is what makes the story so, you know, perfect and so wonderful. Oh, that's a funny story.
By the way, as an aside, when I was cooking some food before the show tonight, Catherine and I were talking about duels. She leaves the room for a second and comes back into the room and slapped me in the face with a glove. What's that all about? Have I been challenged to a duel? Is that the British protocol?
That's the way we did it.
Yeah, slapped him with a glove.
Now, here's where it gets important for you. And I think you should pay attention to this.
Okay.
Your next step is choice of weapons.
Oh, right.
So be real careful right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I got some ideas, but I'm a little weird.
Choice. I feel like.
What would be your choice of weapon?
Well, that's a good question, and I will think about that. But correct me if I'm wrong. She slapped me with the glove, so it was her honor that she felt had been impugned, and it's her choice of weapons.
No, I think if somebody challenges you, you get the choice. Like, all right, since you've challenged me, I get to pick what we're going to fight with.
The only reason I'm saying it this way is that's not how it happened in Horatio Hornblower.
Horatio knows more than we do.
It's a funny scene.
No, you can't have somebody challenge you then also pick the weapon. You're at a total disadvantage.
It's true. It maybe is a flaw in the storytelling there.
I've never worked with that
because
weapon
Horatio
before.
Definitely challenged the guy to the duel and picked the weapon.
Wow.
And they act like that was protocol, but I'm sure there was an evolution of all that. So his weapon of choice was one. This is a weird choice. He picked one gun loaded, one not loaded, and a coin flip.
Wow. Well, but
because he knew there was no way he would beat him in an actual duel, so he was letting fate decide, basically.
But also in a real duel, not like the westerns, but like in the old days, didn't you have you had to have a witness with you that would have your gun and present it and make sure somebody didn't turn around and shoot you while you were
They came out on
away.
pillows.
Yeah.
I just see like a gun on a pillow or something.
Man.
Or two guns, and somebody picks.
They always had a second. I was the second 12 times when I was in high school.
You never had to step up and see, like the reserve duelist, you mean?
I
Or
was
just a
the
witness?
assistant to someone
Right.
who was going to have in other words, I knew an honorable person.
Yeah, right.
but also I think in most of the movies, the honorable person just shoot the gun out of the guy's hand. Like you don't really shoot.
That's some Gunsmoke.
They pull the gun out. Like the bullet didn't even really actually hit their fingers. It just stung.
That's the beginning of Gunsmoke. That's what that is.
I'm so honorable, I'm not even going to shoot you. Just get on down the road.
I love the honor that's even in the duel itself, because like the old classic Western was you stood back to back and took 10 steps, turned and fired. Now, anybody with a survival instinct wouldn't obey the rules.
Right.
This is life or death.
Yeah, so you got to be honorable.
But you couldn't win a duel in a dishonorable way, even if you were the bad guy. It seems like if someone was a low enough human being to insult my honor to the extent that I had to challenge them to a duel, it's still pretty amazing culture that I could trust him to take those 10 steps.
Because that was your reputation. You didn't want to be a cheat.
Apparently.
But like we're talking about that. Think of all the great Clint Eastwood movies where he's the drifter, or like the guy nobody likes. But in the end, one of y'all said you like to cheer for the bad guy. He always comes out for the that one where he made like the metal suit to wear. I mean, my brother used to like, oh my God, he's making the metal. He's got the thing under his jacket and stuff. But
What movie's that?
Oh, like High Plains Drifter or something. He gets this metal thing and hammers it 'cause he knows they're gonna try to get him, and so they're shooting him. And it's all bouncing off his thing. He's
Wow.
But he was always like an honorable. I don't even know he was a bad guy. He was just like an outsider, but very stoic and Man, so maybe we've always cheered for the outsider. Well, that's why you should. There's probably like dual handbooks you can buy.
You're right. The original rules.
I wouldn't order it online. You'd probably be
I wonder
all
if
right.
that was like. I wonder if there are like laws about dueling back in the day. Like,
Oh yeah,
if there was a certain
yeah.
code in the state. If challenged to a duel, one must.
Yeah, I've seen like old books like like etiquette and manners of duels. But also the old time, you wouldn't do it like right in town like the westerns they do because that's But in the old days, I think you went out to like a field somewhere and it was it wasn't like a bunch of crowd watching you.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't
Yeah,
want,
you just imagine them down by the river
Yeah.
with like a witness or two.
you didn't want anybody to know you.
If you were
buried the
powerful
body.
enough, if you were rich and powerful enough, you could have someone else fight your duel for you.
Yeah, pay somebody.
They, in my stead.
Yeah.
That's some BS right there. I mean, come on.
Now, how about the nights where they would joust with those big? Was that a duel or that was just sport?
That was a duel.
But like they challenged each other.
Well, it was also a sport, but I feel like you could challenge somebody to a joust. I've seen that in movies.
Are these things always to the death, or like if you
No.
if you're in a Western duel and took one in the shoulder,
Yep, one shot.
you could get up and then shoot back, or does it end?
I feel like you get
right
one
there?
shot.
Yeah, get one shot.
All right.
Yeah. You can't empty the clip.
What if you don't shoot? Just take one.
Just take one.
Just take one and be like, I have not discharged yet. No.
Any doubt of my honor now.
Yeah,
My turn.
I'm sure there's been lots of movies like that. The old homesteader that never wanted to hurt a fly, so he just takes the. Oh, Papa, you didn't even fire.
You definitely need a book about the loopholes of the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Rules.
Right. Because there's always something.
Yeah.
Some little unknown rule. No, he's right. That's true.
I'd forgotten about that though, 'cause I've heard about that. You could, if you were rich enough or you had dumb enough friends, you could get one of them to go duel for you.
I feel like that's part of it.
Man.
All right, so could that person hire somebody if they're like, no,
Yeah, the next thing you know, like neither of the two.
They'd be sitting over there betting on them.
Right. I got 20 on the other guy.
The guy shows up at the door and was like, sis, what are you doing here? I was like the 10th one down in line. I agreed to fight you. I can't shoot my sis.
I'm getting a whole nickel for trying to kill this guy.
Have you ever been in a scheduled altercation of any sort? Like,
3 o'clock high.
I definitely had the elementary school meet me after school fight.
I had that one time too. Thank God the fight never
I
happened.
don't know that I ever really. I mean, I was around it. I had friends that did it, but I don't remember ever being challenged to a fight after school.
Behind the Pizza Hut at 4, be there, and that was your honor. If someone, I definitely, I just felt it when I said that, but I remember there was a visceral feeling of like, if someone challenged you to a fight behind the Pizza Hut at 4, you had to show up, even if you're a little nerdy pacifist or whatever, because of your honor. You might have to take some friends.
It'd start off in the morning,
right?
And all day long, kids would be talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
And it used to take place a lot of times over at the old Lee, where that building is across the street at the park. What's that building right there on the left?
The art building thing, yeah.
Oh, the pump house.
Yeah.
What'd you call it?
I thought you were talking about where they have the art and stuff.
But right to the left there, where the creek comes through, and there's this big metal thing, one of those spring house thing, and that's where the fight would be. And there'd be 300 kids over there.
That's so cool.
I mean, they'd just be...
And Charlie Kurtz, kill him! Kill him! Kill him!
And so they'd come in, and it was...
Anybody ever get thrown in that creek as a result of that?
I don't recall that. I didn't
Get
see...
used.
I heard about a lot of them. I saw a few, but not... I wasn't...
It is really exciting.
I usually wasn't around during that time. It wasn't that I avoided them, but I was like going to ball practice.
You'd have the whole thing too, because you'd have the building tension of it all day,
Yeah, I
word
mean,
of
it
mouth.
was-
And then when you get there, there's the circle that naturally forms, and you got
Yeah.
each dude with their friends or whoever's involved with their corner of the boxing ring or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, it's crazy. It is
Now,
crazy.
if you were in one of those fights, you got knocked to the ground, would you be the type that would get a handful of dirt and throw it in the guy's eyes and come charging at him again?
I'd like to think. No, I feel like the one time that I ever had a scheduled fight like that, I just got hit, got the wind knocked out of me, and I was just like so proud of myself for showing up.
Right.
I was
That's all you can do.
the only that I knew from the moment that the most I could hope for was to show up.
That's what they say. 90% of us being there.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, especially in a case like that.
But what a young sense of dueling honor that was to have that. You gotta show up. You just gotta. I've been challenged to a fight. My honor's on the line.
Were you messing with somebody's girl, or why did you get in a fight?
Yeah. I told you all that story on the show before, or I would tell it again. Go back, y'all. I forget what episode that is, but you should definitely check that out.
Season
Good-
1.
Good story.
Season 1, 2022.
Yeah, let's decide that. Like, are we still in the midst of season 1?
I think it sounds great to say we're in season 4.
I do like the sound of that.
I mean, 12, one a month. That's about all I'm doing. A lot of things these days. Once a month, if I can do
No,
that.
once a week, not once a month.
Right, but that's what we're doing. But now I'm pretending that I'm spreading out time
Okay.
artificially. So I'm getting a month out of a week.
Wow.
You have to do that when you get older.
You got to come up with something to compete against the gaining speed of things.
Mr. Steve Moore's living in dog years now. He's like,
Exactly.
he's 233 years old sitting here in dog years.
Some days I'm on mouse years.
Is the fact that time starts going faster as you get older, is that true? Like,
No,
Yes, that is true.
no, it doesn't.
Christmas happens like every 4 months now.
right?
It,
I feel like everybody feels that sense, but at the same time, we're living in a society that is gaining
well,
speed
I
as
mean,
well.
it's not time's fault. It's our perceptions are
Right.
changed.
But that perception is
Time.
has always been the case. Like,
Right.
I'm just saying, there's two
But
phenomena
not-
going on.
But perception is limited to that person's perception. But time is not like that. Time,
Right.
Time is real.
But
Well, but it's
my
sorta-
question, I feel like I'm being weird or not saying it right, that it is a human trait for thousands of years that as you get older, time seems,
Seems to, yeah. There's no doubt
speed
about
up.
that. Yeah.
because we're in an interesting time now with technology and, every generation has, because in Mark Twain's years, your transportation's going faster. You're not having to walk 10 miles. Now you can drive a car 10 miles. Like everything, society always feels like it gets faster as well. So like,
Let me say this, if I could interject here, because it might, if I can remember what it was pretty cool. Along what you're saying, in my age and in my time right now, one of the things I've noticed lately is that when I start off a day now, I don't have anything I have to do. I was thinking about this last night. I'm free all day long. And if somebody says, can I come visit at 10 o'clock? I'm say yes, unless somebody already, I just have freedom to do, and including in that is the idea of doing nothing. I've started doing, which is just kind of just staring out. kind of like cats
Seems
and
like that would
dogs
make
do
time
all the
feel
time.
like it slowed down, though.
Well, that's exactly where I'm going with this. I'm finding my days are much longer simply because I have more time in my day to do nothing. Whereas you have to go to work. You have to get up and go do something. And while you're doing something, you're not in that something a lot of the time. You can't be, because you got to do it.
Right.
But I'm saying that right where I am right now, and of course a lot of people my age still have to work or still. Now I do things all day long. It's not that I'm blank. I'm do more crossword puzzles it's healthy for me, but I'm doing something, but I'm doing it when I want to do it and if I want to do it, and I have this freedom of moving around, and I have the freedom of just going upstairs and laying down and taking a nap, and then getting up and trying to guess what time it is and missing it by an hour. And I'm just saying, whew. So my days are pretty long, but again, in terms of time perception, it's moving very quickly through all this.
Right.
The days are, but I'm also
You're almost consciously slowing it down.
I'm slowing. I'm moving into another appreciation of time, which is the day is the day. I give this day to you, and you're here, and I'm going to be with you, and just you. But that's this day, and so every day has its own creation.
It sounds nice.
Yeah, it's a nice place to be because I'm lucky to have the ability to still do that, and to be blessed with friends and family to allow me to do it, because I'm here by the permission of a lot of people in my village.
No, when you were talking about that, I was thinking about time, and we were saying how when you get older, it goes, it speeds up. It's almost like temperature. The temperature is 45 degrees. We all know that. So one person is freezing cold. One's like, man, it's getting hot in here. Time is like, if you do a week before Christmas, for a child, that's like 6 months. For the parents, it's like the next day, I don't have enough time in the world to get stuff done. It's almost like the space the space you're in, I think totally affects, but it is almost like temperature, it's just how different people react to the exact same thing affects you totally different way.
It's what you're used to and what you've gotten into in your life. I think that's all true. It's a perception.
Now, when you first retired, was it weird not going to do stuff? Did that take a little while to get used to that?
I never really felt like when I retired from full-time teaching, I went right into part-time teaching, which was moving into where I am now of absolutely nothing. But I was breaking away from it. What I was trying to get out of was the everyday. I have to be, when the bell rings at 8:05, I have to be I had to be dressed and everything, and sober and all. I had to be awake and clean. Ugh. So I had to do something all the time. So I wanted to, but I still loved teaching.
Right.
So I did short-time gigs at different places, which was wonderful because I learned about different teaching at different levels. So I learned more about teaching there.
So you sort of eased into the.
And then I ended up at Stewart Hall part-time, and loved working there. That was a lot of fun. So I eased into retirement. And then I got to the point where I didn't do anything at all. Except what I wanted to do. I still tutored and, worked with individuals, but.
Why do you think that perception of time speeding up as you get older? What is that?
Ooh. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a cumulative type of thing. Like you've got a stack of things, and the more you put on there, the more weight there is. It just pushes it down. I think whereas you think, so maybe it's not that now seems shorter, but when you were younger, those years seemed longer. So by comparison, you feel like it's shorter, but it's not really. I don't know.
It's so, I mean, I think that's totally one of the weirdest. I mean, how do you explain that? That's always like when you go on vacation, it takes twice as long to get there as it does to get back.
Right.
Like, man, we were on the same roads. Why did we get home so soon? It's like that the excitement, the desire to get on vacation makes it longer. Then you don't want to go home, and you like, no, we're there already. I thought it took us 3 hours to get there and only 15 minutes to get home. It's like, and maybe that's like maybe kids too. It's just everything's new to them, and any little magical thing can attract their attention.
But you
for
would
hours.
think that the perception would be the opposite. That then when you get older, it would seem to just take forever. Like,
Yeah.
just because if nothing's new and exciting,
Right.
then it was a strange thing.
I think it might have something to do with the amount of time that you have to look back on, and the longer that gets, the shorter the time ahead. Just because you know that there's an end somewhere.
Dang, Mr. Cheerful over here.
But I'm just saying, I feel like it might be like.
Yeah, I
that
understand.
you're able to reflect on a longer period of time and have that perception of like, holy shit, that's going by in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
So
Now.
your mic's not on, right?
No.
So Lex is saying his theory is that the more time you have behind you to look back on,
The longer that becomes.
the
The more it affects like how you experience like what's left maybe, and that it feels short. It feels like it's going by quick because, oh gosh, there's another year to all the, and then another year just went by, and those years feel shorter, I guess. But I don't know, because there's this accumulation of years behind you that
he's working on a
have
theory.
gone by so quickly, and you just realize, oh my gosh, that 48 years is
He's like, you turn 53 and you're like, oh my gosh, that all just happened, and here I am. How did I get here? It all happened so fast. And then that's affecting your perception. You actually have less life ahead of you than you have behind you once you hit the halfway point. I doubt I'm going to live to 106. So I'm already on the downside of that hill.
And so you're picking up speed.
Gaining speed time-wise, yep. There's something there.
Would you like if there was like this like wasn't just for you, it's for everybody. Like what if scientists could discover this thing where they would tell you, like, you'd wake up one day and you'd be doing your stuff and like a little bell would go off and it would say you've lived half your life.
Oh, would you want to know?
Yeah, so like you wouldn't know it was coming up. You would just be doing something like there would be something like your cell phone would be like, damn, I've lived half my life. And so they basically tell you when you're going to pass it. So you would be like, you have to, wouldn't that be weird?
Would you want to know?
So, but if you lived 53 years, you would know you had 53 more.
Right. Well, I mean, another way of putting it is just if someone handed you an envelope and inside was the year or day you were going to die, would you open that?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't open it.
I'd be too scared.
You wouldn't? I would open it.
I mean, I'd be afraid.
Curiosity killed the cat. I would be too curious. I wouldn't want to open it, but I would definitely open it.
No,
You wouldn't open it.
Well, why would you?
But also,
Well, because if it's definitely in stone and it's like you could do whatever you wanted up until that point. If it said I had 20 years, I would be like jumping out of airplanes tomorrow or something. I'd be on my way to Ukraine. I don't. I'd be like.
What if it said you had 96 years?
96 years to live?
Would you just do anything you wanted for 96 years.
I mean, I would
Free pass, baby, free pass. I died in 96 years.
I'd try heroin for the first time.
Do that for like 30 years. Recover for the next 30.
No, but so this is another thing.
I'd start booking my rehab for 10 years up.
So let's say that your phone went off and it said, ding, you lived half your life and you were like 24. Would you expect to be declining health, or would you think, man, I hope it's like I get hit by a bus or something? Or would you just expect like that you're going to get sick and die?
No, I don't know.
That's the thing. You might just be living, you're like, this thing working? It can't be right. I've been perfect. You know, you get slammed by a truck.
Now, here's a question in the same sort of vein. If you could live forever, would you do it? If there was a pill that would make you immortal, but you could never kill yourself, you could never die, would you take it?
Yes, because I'm a very good force in the world.
Good answer.
Now, I'm going to rant off on another subject, or the same subject. But I was thinking about this with all that Shane McGowan thing got me so upset. And I thought, God, whoever, death is one of the best things. I just started thinking, if we lived forever, we would just forget people. They would just go away. Death brings everybody's attention back to you. It's like, let's celebrate this person. If you never died, if Shane McGowan lived for, I'd never seen his name on Facebook. I have friends that liked him, but some people weren't talking about him all the time. His death brings, it's a celebration almost. Like, if he just lived forever, who knows if I'd ever hear his name again. It's like whoever invented death, it's like, I'm giving you one last big hurrah.
Not only that, not only the last hurrah, but now his existence is dependent upon your memory.
Right. And it pulls up all the good memories.
Like if he was just immortal, it wouldn't matter if you remembered him or not.
No.
But because he died, the fact that you remember him means he exists still.
Right. If I could live forever, though, to your question, oh my gosh. God, would time just keep getting faster and faster? So every year is like a 1 second, like a 1 day. God, oh, slow down, world, slow down. Oh.
This is ridiculous.
I don't know.
Well, with Lex's theory, like maybe that perception wouldn't happen anymore because you wouldn't be on one side of the hill of your life.
Now, your question about the envelope, if you picked it up and read it, would you tell Catherine what it said?
If she wanted to, I guess I would leave that there.
So you'd put that burden on her too, to know that like when you were going to go?
If she wanted to know.
I don't know. I don't know if I could tell somebody that when I was going to go. Because I wouldn't want to burden them with that. Like, oh, my God, he's only got 3 days left, tiptoeing around. Or they would just be thinking about it. Oh, it's your 54th birthday. God, I've only got 2 more to go. It would be like I don't know, man.
What would really be freaky about that, knowing, like, your halfway mark or the day you're going to die? It's like, if, like, the day before, you're fit as a fiddle, everything's absolutely amazing.
Right.
But the day's coming.
Yeah.
The next day,
I die tomorrow.
Somehow.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, oh my God, what's going to happen tomorrow? All right, everybody watch out.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, this can't be right. I feel
You
fine,
get all your friends over. I mean, you would be like, okay, I'm supposed to die tomorrow, but I'm feeling great. So I'm going to be like sitting right here in this chair. I'm going to invite all y'all over, lecture on the back door, like surround all the entrances to the place. And then the house just falls and caves in on me or something. A comet.
And then they realized everybody else had the same exact date.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God.
You're getting to Alfred Hitchcock shows.
Oh, that's
you were the only one that shared it. Everyone else kept it secret.
Right.
Well, I guess it's Nathan's big day. I don't want to tell him it's my day also.
Well, I don't want to be just sitting at home by myself. I might as well go to Nathan's thing.
Yeah, I was gonna sit here and pout. Nathan's planning a party. I might as well not just go on over there.
Would you live forever, Lex, if you could?
Nah,
No.
I think it would,
Straight up, no. Quick.
It'd be hard to like. I feel like it would really mess you up over time. Like all the loss. Like, I feel like our lives are just long enough to experience the amount of loss that we have to during it. Anything beyond
well
that
said.
will start to just fuck us up too bad.
Mm.
I couldn't imagine all these relationships you could have over and over and over, and how in your lifetime, as we know it, you fall in love. You know, these things like happen like significantly, just a few times if you're lucky, once if you're lucky. You know. But you know, to have to feel like, I don't know, how do you fully invest in your emotions even at a point like, you know, love loss, or even just like your friends, people that you know, just all that. I think it would just be too much. I wouldn't want to experience that ever.
What do you think of that? Are you reconsidering whether or not you would be immortal?
I like your
I don't do it. I wouldn't do it because I wanted to do it.
Ah.
I would do it because I think the world needs me to do it. So it'd be more like a duty. I would be more like him if I was being honest about not wanting to fool with it.
Right, right.
If there's any vampires watching tonight, please write in and let us know how it really is.
I'm definitely envious of your response. I wish that I felt that way about myself.
Well,
Now, would there be an aging
it
process?
doesn't necessarily have any truth after next week, and it also wasn't true 10 years ago. If that makes you feel any better, so you know, you're only as good as your last denial of what you'd like to do compared to what you need to do.
You could be a hell of a dueler if you're never going to die. You challenge anybody.
Exactly. Yeah, I could hire myself out.
Anybody in here want to do? I'll take on. How many you want to do?
Apparently, I offended his honor. I don't even know what I did.
What you looking at? 4 eyes, buck tooth. Come on.
Yeah, I've got another Donald Trump assignment here. We're representing him again next week. They keep wanting to shoot him.
Now, I wonder what it's like being on death row. You know when you're gonna pass, when they're gonna die. Like Wednesday, you're gonna be put to sleep. I think at that point, after being in jail that long, it would almost be like a sweet relief.
Hurry
just
up.
let me get out of here. Until you get up there, then I'm probably it's like, oh my god, what about? Oh my god, I have nightmares tonight.
What kind of nightmares?
About gun smoke. Chester coming up and laying in the bed.
You have to
with
duel
me.
an immortal.
Now, aren't these young adult? Isn't that a lot of immortal stuff? These vampires, and you know they were back during the Renaissance, and they're still going. Isn't that part of all like those?
Wait, say it again.
Like all these like young novel, what are they? Young adult things. Isn't that like a lot of vampires and people living forever?
True Blood. What was? Oh my goodness! How did we do that?
Jabber Jawn.
Wow, Jabber Jawn strikes again.
What happened?
It's 8:48.
We're like kids here. Time just slows down.
That's amazing.
Thinking about time.
Yeah. Well, time just went really fast for us somehow or another. Wow.
Who does that song, Time Passages? Who's that? Time Passage. Who does
Oh,
that?
that's a good song.
Who does it? Who does that?
Time passages.
Yeah. When you sang it, I heard it.
Passages.
Yeah.
God, who does that song?
Oh, I used
Is
to
it like
love that
Jim
song.
Croce or something?
Yeah, he did.
Well, whoever stuck with us all the way, thank you so much for tuning in. That's just amazing. Holy moly, 20 minutes overtime.
You will all receive an honorable person certificate for staying with us this long.
No matter who you are.
Send in a picture of yourself watching this last song, and you'll get the reward.
Just be good.
There's a battle blazing in my brain. Millions of me fighting for my name. There's a few I'm cheering on to make the claim. The rest of them are driving me insane. And all I want and all I need and all I know is I'm sitting still, but I'm gaining speed. Somewhere there between my ears, there sits an angry jury of my peers. My lawyer failed the bar and passed the beer. Didn't get a laugh, just 99 years. And all I want and all I need and all I know is I'm sitting still, but I'm gaining speed. Pop, 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 popcorn, watch the moon. I keep moving pictures around my room, trying to keep this catgut in tune. Sun keeps popping up too soon. And all I want and all I need and all I know is I'm sitting still, but I'm gaining speed. All I want and all I need, all I know is I'm sitting still, but I'm gaining speed.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, everybody. See you next time.
Perfect.
You have to watch these shows before we do them, because you always have a perfect song.
That's remarkable how that hit perfect.
It fit in more ways than one.
Almost like he's been guiding us into that.
Oh, no,
conversation.
I think he drugs us so we don't know that we're actually sitting through. Like this is, he's already seen the talking part, and we're just sitting here. And then he's worked up a song for it after seeing the show.
Time traveler. I did know I was going to sing that song as soon as we said gaining speed, but then there was a few more lines in there